I just created a tracker that allows me to measure exactly how profitable each of my teams are within my email marketing agency. And what this allows me to do is figure out where I need to increase prices, what teams need more clients, what teams are falling short, and how I can better support them to make more revenue. This little tracker, I think every agency should have. It's absolutely key to growing your business and figuring out where to allocate new clients and how to generate more revenue and where you're falling short. I'm gonna give you a link to the tracker in the description of this video, and I'm gonna go through it with a screen share. If you find this video useful, fantastic. I make these videos to share tips, provide advice for people who are where I currently am or who are trying to get to where I am, and also just to document my journey. I do a little bit of coaching as well, so if you want some coaching help, there's a link in the description of this video. Book a call, I'd love to meet you. Anyway, let me show you this tracker that allows me to track my team's profit, their revenue, and yeah, I wanna share some stuff, let's do it. Okay, so this board here, you have access to it in the description of this video. This is a cool thing that I created. Now, I didn't invent this, other people have done this in the past, but it has really helped me do a couple of things. I just need to change this person's name. It has allowed me to figure out exactly where my teams are falling short, what teams need more clients, and what clients need to pay more. So let me explain this really quickly. We have currently 3 teams, and you can do this if you have 1 team as well, totally possible. In each team, we have a project manager, a builder, a designer, and a copywriter, okay? I know for me to run this team, it cost me $10,280. I calculated that by looking at my expenses for staff across the board when it comes to delivering client work. So I didn't calculate my video editor, for example, because that's a separate job. But I calculated that it cost me $10,280. In total, really, we have 3 teams running. My HR, my payroll to run these teams is roughly $30,600, okay? That's how much it cost me in HR salary overall. So what I did is I took that and I divided it by the teams that we have. So each team, for me, for an email marketer, has a project manager, the person who manages the project, a builder, the person who builds the emails, a designer, a person who designs the emails, and a copywriter, a person who writes the emails. That cost me $10,280 per team. So I just took my entire HR staff, divided it by 3, and came out to this number. So you can do that by literally just going into your accounting tool or figuring out how much you spend on staff every month, and you divide it by how many teams you have. If you have 1, you would just say, okay, to run 1 team, it costs me this much money. So I know that's how much it costs. Then what I did is I looked back retrospectively. So this is for December. We're currently in January. I looked back from December 31st to December 1st, and I looked at the total amount that we invoiced, okay? So for example, I would look at client 1. I know for client 1, we invoiced $2,900 for that month, okay? And client 1 works with pod 1. In this case, as an example, John's pod, okay? So we invoiced client 1 on December 1st, $2,900. We invoiced client 2, $748 on December 3rd, so on and so forth, right? And I matched every single invoice that we invoiced to a client to the team that works with that client. So currently, pod 1 manages these clients here, okay? So what I recommend doing is looking at the clients that you have and reconciling how much you invoice that client with the team that works on it. You can literally do this in any accounting tool or just in any, just look at your bank account, your bank feed, and you can say, okay, client 1, let's say it's, Sam's Ice Cream. Sam's Ice Cream is the name of the company. And we invoice them $2,900 a month. That was last month, okay? So we're looking back. We're not projecting, we're looking back. And I know that was $2,900, okay? Client 2 is, Steve's Cars, and we invoice them $748. And you have access to this document, so all the formulas are done for you. You can just find the document, click File, make a copy of it, okay? And you fill in the client's name and how much you invoiced them in that previous month. At the very bottom, you'll see the total that you invoiced. So I'll even change it here. Total invoiced, okay? That's for team 1. For team 2, we did the exact same thing. Client 9, client 10, whatever. You have their names, right? and you reconcile how much you invoice them for that client, okay? And you have the total there. And then for your third team, and you can do this for like 5 teams, you can do this for 10 teams, you can do this for 1 team, okay? And I'm gonna show you why this is useful in a second. But then you can see exactly how much you invoice them, okay? Then I've also created this little thing here, which is total revenue. So it's pod 1. This is the total from here. So this cell is pulling the number from here. And then we're also at total cost. And we can see the gross profit. Gross profit. Okay? So this is the gross profit from this team. And we can see this team generated a gross profit of $4,920. Did the exact same thing for the other team. We can see this team generated a gross profit in the month of December of $11,928. And then we can see as a percentage how much that gross profit was. Really quickly, sorry to interrupt the video. I just want to tell you something really cool that we've started doing with Inbox. I've actually created a school community where I teach you anything and everything I know about email and SMS marketing, from really advanced campaign strategies to how to simply set up your Klaviyo account, all the way to building really, really cool automations for the back end of your e-commerce store. Whether you're a business owner trying to learn how to do email marketing or an email marketer trying to learn how to become a better email marketer, there is a link in the description to this school community where I teach you everything I know. Check it out. It's worthwhile. Book a call to have a chat with me to see if you're a right fit for the community. And if you are, I'd love to get you in there. Anyway, sorry for interrupting your video. Let's get back to it. Now, to run an agency successfully and to scale it properly, I think you need to be running at roughly 50% profit per team, okay? And you can see right now, only one team is at 53%. And you can see how far off they are 50% right here. So for example, John's team generated $15,200 in revenue. It cost us $2,280 to run it, and our gross profit of that was $4,920. And we can see our gross profit as a percentage, 32.37. Now my goal is 50% profit gross, so before taxes, before all of our other deductions. And we are therefore 17.63% off of our profit goal. And we can see overall, now we're still profitable, but we're 17.63% off of our goal. And we can see that here. So why does this matter, right? Like, what does this help me do? What this does for me is it paints me 2 pictures. It paints me a picture of A, the team is not profitable. Right, sorry, it tells me that the team is not profitable, and it provides me with 2 solutions. A, the team needs more clients, or B, we need to charge more for our existing clients. And you can figure this out in 2 ways. If your team, for example, pod 1, is currently at capacity, for example, you cannot give them any more clients. Like, I couldn't be like client 9, client 10. I couldn't add more clients because they couldn't handle that work, right? That tells me that in order to meet my profit goal of 50%, okay, we need to charge these clients more. Or we need to fire these clients and replace them with clients that pay us more, okay? Now, if this team can take on more work, if they're at like 70% capacity, the problem isn't how much we're charging the client, it's how much work the client, or rather the team, is actually doing, okay? So we know here, for example, that this team compared to team 2 is not doing as much work as this team, which tells me that this team can take on more clients and we can increase the amount that we're charging, okay? So I know from this picture right here that this team has low paying clients and can take on more work. And so I can then figure out, okay, if we have new clients coming in, who am I gonna give them to? Which team am I gonna give them to? I can see that team 2 is already meeting our profitability goals. And they're already at capacity. See this? They already have a bunch of work on. So I don't need to give more clients to team 2. Instead, I need to give more clients to team 1. And if I do this, let's go hypothetically, client 9. Let's say I gave them a new client at $2K per month. Gets us up to 17. And look, now they're 10% off their goal. So there's another thing we can do. We can say, okay, I need to give you 2 more clients. So we'll go add 1 more client here. Take this. If I give you 2 more clients, you're going to be just off of your profitability goal. I also need to increase how much we're charging. So what do I need to do with these clients to get more money and meet our profitability goals? Well, client 7, what happens if I gave this team 2 more clients and increased the client 7's bill by $300? Okay, now we're close. We're getting closer to our profitability goals. Let's do the same thing for client 4. Let's add $1,000. Okay, we're close. We're getting closer, right? What happens if we do another $1,000 here? We're close. What happens if we add another $300 here? Boom, we're pretty much at our profitability goal. So by using this tool, you're able to see how much more work we need to give the teams and how much we have to increase our retainers by. You see what I mean? And this allows you to decide which direction you're going to give more work to, okay? And who you're going to start charging more to. And it gives you like a very clear oversight of essentially where your business is at, what you need to be giving in terms of workload to your team, and what clients you may need to fire. Like if I'm looking at this now, and my team 1, he was like, hey, I can't take any more work, right? These 7 clients are too much for me. Then I've got 2 decisions. I've either got, hey, you need to figure out how you can streamline your systems to make sure you can take on more work, or B, we need to fire these old clients and replace them with higher paying clients. And how this has influenced my business is I have a clear picture now. I know which teams, because this is actually modeled off of my internal team. Believe it or not, I've just changed the names and the client names. This is exactly what we do in my company. These are literally the profits of my teams. By the way, this is exactly what we're at. So I know right now, for example, Suzanne, we need to load them up with more clients and get them on higher paying clients. Now we're actually already doing that. This is from last month. We're currently recording in January. When I create this board for January, I'll know exactly what our profitability looks like and where to start allocating things. But it really helps me decide where to allocate work, and also if I'm charging the right price for my services to help me achieve my agency goals. Super useful tool. You have access to it in the description of this video. I think this is pretty cool. I didn't reinvent this, by the way. I didn't invent this. I just reinvented it for myself. I find this super useful. I make these videos to talk about my own journey. If you find them useful, fantastic. If you want a little bit of coaching help, I do a little bit of that as well. So just let me know. There's a link in the description to get in touch with me. Subscribe to my newsletter. Check out my school community. All that kind of good stuff. Anyway, I will see you in the next video.